This week on Chuckload of Comics, fresh new details on the new Captain Marvel movie. We got our first reviews of M. Night Shyamalan's Glass, and Kevin Feige gives the dirt on Phase 4 of the MCU. All that plus C2E2 updates right here on Chuckload of Comics. How was that? Good? Hey guys, welcome to Chuckload of Comics. What a difference a week makes. Huge news this week in the world of fandom. We're going to get into it all for you right here. Joining us, some very special guests here on Chuckload of Comics. You know him from iTunes, from Spotify, from all the places people listen to podcasts, from the CHUMPCAST, Ryan Smithers. How's it going, man?
Hi, I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
You are very welcome. Love CHUMPCAST, one of the funniest podcasts on iTunes, guys. Check them out for sure.
You're way too kind.
Right next to Mr. Ryan Smithers, the tattoo artist extraordinaire, Rafael Corona.
Oh, that's me.
That's you.
I thought that was her.
How you doing, Ralph? Thanks for coming back.
Thanks,
Happy
man.
birthday, by the way.
Good to be
Happy
back.
birthday,
Thanks,
Ralph.
guys.
Hey.
Oh, yeah.
And of course, directly across from Ralph, the lovely and talented Shauna Lindsay. Just a reminder,
That's
guys.
all I got.
Yeah. Thanks for
Nice
watching.
words.
Just a reminder, guys, Chuckload of Comics is brought to you and sponsored every single week by Cold War Games, Arts, and Entertainment. We have been, it's been the last couple weeks, we told you about the new game, Fight Your Friends, coming out from Cold War Games. Fresh new details. You can win your very own free copy of Fight Your Friends. All you have to do, they're giving away free copies of this book, this game that doesn't come out till February. All you got to do to win your own copy of Fight Your Friends is subscribe to Chuckload of Comics.
Right.
Click on that subscribe button right now. It's so easy. We'll wait. Just give it a click. We'll be here when you get back. So subscribe to Chuckload of Comics and go find Cold War at C2E2.
Yep.
They're doing a big promotion at C2E2 and all of the conventions that they go to. If you're a subscriber to Chuckload of Comics and you find the Cold War people at the conventions, you are going to be instantly entered into a raffle to win a free copy of Fight Your Friends.
So cool.
How do you have to show that you're subscribed to Chuck? You show them your phone, though, or do you are?
No, you have to pull
Yeah.
out your laptop and you have to navigate to YouTube.
Because I have an at-home computer. Do I strap it like that meme with the guy? You know, put the
Find
whole
a plug.
computer monitor.
That
in
would
my-
work too, yeah.
Or just pull out your phone and just show that you subscribe to Chuckload of Comics and win a free copy of Fight Your Friends, guys. That game comes out in February. Really, really cool game. Check them out at coldwar.us or shopcoldwar.us.
Now, will they just let me fight my friends?
I
Can
don't know the exact gameplay, but I think
Maybe.
that there's a lot of fighting involved.
There's
in
probably
this
a
game.
card where you can says just punch the person to your right or
Just
something.
looking for an
That would
excuse.
yeah.
Yep. So, guys, we're going to go ahead and break down our favorite comic books of the week. But before we do, let's get into this week's Nerd News. So, guys, this week we saw the third and not final trailer for Captain Marvel. It was it launched on one of these sports contests that Monday night. Ryan, that's really more your cup of tea.
Come on, man.
Apparently there was a sports contest, and they decided to get all the nerds who are watching the game into Captain Marvel. It's our third trailer for Captain Marvel. Ryan, they said there's going to be a fourth trailer. This is not the final trailer for Captain Marvel. What do you think? I mean, do we need a fourth trailer for Captain Marvel?
The question here is why? Why are you showing me any more of this movie? You've already delved into everything. Now you get the quips back and forth. It's like a comedy that gives away the jokes. You don't need it anymore.
Yeah.
Everybody who's going to see this movie has already signed up, said, yep, I'm going to go see it the weekend it comes out or the weekend after. I've already got my ticket. I'm sure everybody else here does as well. I just don't understand this marketing blitz. There are other movies even that they could be pushing by
Right?
now.
Yeah. I think it's a trend going on in Hollywood where they have to put out trailers 8 months in advance, and they have to show you 10 trailers. Don't get me wrong. I love the trailers. I love all the trailers I've seen for Captain Marvel. I don't necessarily see the need for a fourth trailer during the Super Bowl. But hey, that's just kind of my opinion. Shauna, they also dropped 3 new posters.
Yes.
For Captain Marvel. 3 gorgeous posters. You saw the posters for Captain Marvel.
I love them. They look straight out of the 80s, too. They look like...
They do. They got a really cool
so
kind of
great.
retro feel to
Yeah.
them. Absolutely gorgeous. They don't look like the typical Marvel poster. You know, they look nothing like what you've seen for Guardians of the Galaxy. Like if you put Guardians of the Galaxy poster right next to the Infinity War poster, they look like pretty much the same poster. These look very fresh and very creative.
Kind of reminds me of like Reading Rainbow.
Does it?
It does. I don't know why.
Reading
but-
Rainbow, huh?
Oh, look, it's in a book.
That's right.
It's a Reading Rainbow, people. So getting on to the trailer, kind of what we thought, Ralph. You obviously saw the trailer.
Yeah.
Your general thoughts on what you saw?
I don't know. I really didn't like that last trailer. I think it was like too I don't know, too cheery. You know, so we're like the first one, even the second one still had that kind of dark feel to it, like a mysterious kind of thing to it. And this one was it was too happy. I just was like, oh,
It
this looks
was
corny.
very, very lighthearted. I
Yeah.
personally loved that aspect of it. Like to see Carol Danvers, she's just so adorable in this trailer. I think she's just going to be this cute, fun character that everybody likes. Every time she does an eyebrow raise, or when she's sitting at the bar with Nick Fury, and he's asking, well, how do I know you're not a Skrull? And she just blasts the jukebox over there, and then she just puts her hand on her chin. She's like, yeah, there you go.
But is she supposed to be cute or is she supposed to be a badass? Like, which one is it?
I'm with Sean on this. I really think she should just smile more. She's supposed to be the savior of the universe, right? She's supposed to be the most powerful being to come in since Thanos, and this does not really portray that. So I'm not really sure what the direction here is. You see a couple really cool things in here, like the Skrull transformation.
Was
Yeah,
awesome.
that was cool.
Save it for the movie. I don't need to see this in a trailer. Save it.
I did like
Yeah,
it
I
though.
agree.
I liked the way they did the CGI with the Skrull transformation. He sees the surfer girl and just instantly morphs into her. You're
Makes
right.
you wonder
I
if
mean,
that's painful.
It looks like it hurt.
You're right.
Yeah.
It looked like it hurt quite a bit, actually.
Now, do they have it like Transformers? Is it like Mystique, where like they can change it at any moment, or
Yeah.
is it once they change? I don't know.
No, they can change as much as they want. They're just a race of shapeshifters.
Awesome. I guess I didn't know that much about Skrulls.
Well, on top of the trailer,
That's
sticking
okay.
with the Captain Marvel news, guys, spoiler alert. Guys, I didn't tell you I was going to spoil the movie for you while you were sitting at the table, so
It's not
earmuffs.
really spoilerish.
Well, what
fine.
they did a critics set visit where the studio invites a small handful of critics to come on the set. They do some really in-depth interviews and stuff. It's a big, big treat for critics to come do this. Well, they did this last week, and some spoilers for the plot of the movie. We're going to kind of break them down for you real quick. First little plot detail we're going to see in the movie is a big backstory of Nick Fury. We're going to finally get to see kind of a little bit more of where Nick Fury comes from, sort of his backstory, maybe how he loses his eye.
It's the cat.
And the cat.
It's the cat. The cat takes his eye, guaranteed.
Yeah, so that's kind of exciting to see a little bit of Nick Fury's
Our
backstory.
Maybe.
All you fans of Marvel Comics, though, you know the Kree Supreme Intelligence. Shauna, you know who the Kree Supreme Intelligence is?
The big giant head.
The big giant head, the robotic giant head that the Kree used to make a cosmic cube way back in the 60s. The Kree Supreme
Way
Intelligence
back
is
in the
going to
60s.
have an appearance in the movie. Excitement level 10? 0?
If it's Danny DeVito's head, 100% in.
that would be awesome.
Or Bryan Cranston, like on Power Rangers?
Could
Oh,
be.
that
Could be.
could be
Maybe
nice.
it's been done. As long as it's
Zordon.
not like The Rock or John Cena, who are in everything. Danny DeVito is the right way to go with this.
Danny DeVito's the head in the jar. The other big little plot detail they mentioned two very, very crazy words in the world of fandom: secret invasion. What does that mean? People, to you, when I say secret invasion, what do you think?
That means anybody throughout any of these movies could have been a Skrull at any time.
That's right.
Exactly. The secret invasion comic books basically says, I mean, in that comic book run, the Skrull took the form of some of our favorite comic book characters. So if they're going to try to do this into the secret invasion, it's quite possible that when we get into Avengers Endgame, some of our favorite heroes could actually have been Skrulls the whole time. Hawkeye, anybody?
Mind blown.
Don't you besmirch Hawkeye.
I'm not besmirching Hawkeye.
Don't you do it.
But when I heard about the secret invasion thing, the first thing I thought was, well, in this new trailer, we saw a completely different looking Hawkeye. Maybe the Hawkeye we've seen up to this point was the Skrull version of Hawkeye.
Oh,
But then where was he the entire time? Was he just off being Ronin somewhere?
Yeah. Yeah. Just
it. Okay.
not checking his emails.
Scarlet
Yes.
Witch could be one, you know?
yeah.
I think Bucky Barnes is the perfect candidate for being a Skrull. Because he went
also
away
true.
for a long time, showed up out of nowhere.
That's
Do
a
you
good
think
point.
that this is a good way for them to segue out some of these actors from these roles and bring in somebody that looks totally different? Say nobody really knew what Tony Stark looked like in the
Right.
first place.
This hasn't been Tony.
interesting.
They're just going to recast him, and this is actually Tony Stark.
Probably the cheapest way to do it.
Right? That's an interesting theory.
I don't know, guys. Let us know what you think in the comments section. Let us know what you think about the Captain Marvel trailer number 3 and whether or not you think you need to see a trailer number 4 coming out in February.
You don't.
Other big news that dropped this week. We got our first reviews for the new Glass movie, the new M. Night Shyamalan Glass, the follow-up to Split, the follow-up to Unbreakable, the Unbreakable Universe. These reviews are hella mixed.
Right?
I haven't seen the world of fandom so separated since Last Jedi. Some people absolutely love it. Some people hate it. Most of them are kind of middle of the road. Some of the positive reviews. We'll go ahead and kick this off kind of in a positive way. From Collider, Jeff Snyder. Jeff Snyder hates everything. He is not a fan of comic book films. He walked out of the film and said it's one of the best comic book movies in recent history. He said it's right up there with Logan, which is high praise from a guy who likes nothing.
But the fact that he hates superhero films altogether, and then he says it's right up there with Logan. He doesn't say it's right up there with Infinity War, or I don't know. That's interesting. Like maybe
I
it's
like
just,
in this movie probably more of a Logan, more of
Yeah,
a
yeah.
low key kind of a superhero film. Another big positive review. This guy said, "I saw Glass and you won't be disappointed. It ties together so well with Unbreakable and Split and sets up nicely for future stories. Go see it."
Woohoo!
That's exciting. Nice positive review. Have you guys read any of the reviews on Twitter yet?
No.
I'm trying to avoid that completely.
Oh.
I've seen a few on IO9 and whatnot. The Jeff Snyder thing is very interesting because when I think of him, I think of someone who probably liked the black and white Logan Noir version
I like
better than
that
the
movie.
original.
Right.
Not better than the original. I did like the black and white Logan
Sure,
Noir.
it's the same movie, but it's in black and white, and
Yeah.
he's like the kind of fart sniffy guy that's like, yeah, that's more artistic somehow.
Wow. You really know this guy pretty well.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Some of the more mixed reviews. Again, most of the reviews were kind of mixed. This one came also from Collider. I think it was from Dennis Zhang. He wrote, "Glass, while not as good as Split, was more ambitious and still enjoyable, especially for the first 2/3 of it. Had some issues with the ending. Feel like people will be debating whether or not they thought it worked or not. Overall, still worth watching." Nice little middle of the road, kind of a mixed review.
Maybe one of them turned out to be a scroll.
Could be.
You think?
Maybe.
I guess one of the big questions is this really the end of this storyline?
Right.
Which is ultimately going to depend on the box office, I'm sure, and whether or not they make a
Absolutely.
ton of money.
I want to say no. I mean, even if the negative reviews are the majority, I think it's currently sitting at like a 33 on Rotten Tomatoes from critics. Not
What?
good. But to your credit, Ryan, it's only a $20 million movie. They're going to make their production budget back in the first day.
Yeah, easily.
They're going to triple their production budget in the first weekend. So even if it has bad reviews, if it makes the studio a ton of money, are they still going to continue on with it? Is it?
Of course they
Have
are.
you
They're
seen
making
one of the billion Transformers movies out
Right.
there?
That's
and
true.
also they're making a Suicide Squad too. Hello.
Good point. Good point. Money talks.
Yes, it does.
So some of the negative reviews, guys, from IndieWire. They wrote, "M. Night Shyamalan's grounded superhero movie is the biggest disappointment of his career."
Wow.
I take.
Let's dissect that.
I don't think it's as big. I mean, did you not see The Last Airbender?
Lady in the Water.
Lady in the Water?
I mean, you have plenty of failures to choose from there. that
Biggest
would be an
disappointment,
accomplishment
I-
in and of itself.
Yeah.
To be the worst failure of M. Night's career.
Well, this other guy wrote, "Glass was the worst film I've seen in a long time. I haven't left the theater this upset since Suicide Squad." Wow. That I can kind of see. I left Suicide Squad so disappointed.
Yeah.
These
Oh my god.
reviews are insanely mixed, though. That's crazy.
They're all over the place. I want to
Yeah.
get you guys' general opinion. Shauna, excitement level for Glass going in even after hearing these reviews?
I'm still excited. I mean, I love this trilogy. I mean, I loved Unbreakable. I loved Split. I can't wait to see what this has to offer. I'm excited. My excitement level's an 11.
Good. That's what I want to hear.
Maybe they put on costumes and Samuel L. Jackson's characters, like just the guy in the chair. you
Yeah.
know?
The guy in the chair.
I like
yes.
your scroll theory a little bit more.
That would be more interesting.
And they're all scrolls, by the way.
Ryan, where are you at? Excitement level for Glass.
You know, Split, was such a surprise to me because I watched the trailer and I was like, this is going to be the biggest piece of crap I've ever seen. And James McAvoy actually killed it. I don't know if it was just the way they cut that trailer that made it look terrible, but it ended up being great. So I'm still on board for this. I think M. Night's got one more in the tank at least.
I agree.
Maybe it's just my overall positive attitude, but I'm still excited.
That you're
I'm
known
still
for.
excited.
That's not what I normally think of when I think of.
Me too. I mean,
That's right.
Thanks, Shauna.
I'm kind of glad to hear these. I mean, it does bring my expectations down. It doesn't bring my excitement level down for the film at all. I mean, the trailers have looked great. The characters are great. You got some of the best actors working in Hollywood today on this film. Shyamalan, I think, is gonna do really well with this film, and I think he knows there's another one coming. I read another review where they said this totally leads up to future movies. So I think it ends with a tease for the next film.
I just think it's cool that he built his own superhero universe. I mean, I just think that's awesome.
I know.
mean, we have Marvel, we have DC, we have all the Image universes being built, but
He came up with his own.
totally new.
Yeah. And I mean, introduce some new characters in,
Yeah.
in future films. Why not?
So what kind of character are we going to get out of this? Is it going to be like a psychic who can read minds, or
That's what they need. They need a good guy, because right now it's just Bruce Willis taking on the world. I think we need maybe one more hero for him to kind of team up
That's
with.
an interesting-
Spoiler prediction: Sarah Paulson's character is somehow a superhero, and she's just denying everything.
Wow, good.
I like
I
that.
don't hate that.
Yeah, that's pretty
Call
good.
me M. Night.
All right, cool. Well, guys, another big piece of nerd news that dropped this week. Sunday was the Golden Globes. MTV, God bless them, sat down on the red carpet with Kevin Feige. This interview that this genius interviewer did with Kevin Feige on the red carpet, he asked all the right questions. Kevin Feige really... Uh-oh. What
Sorry.
you got over there, Shauna? You got a beer in your droid?
New beer in my droid. Sorry. for
That's
the
okay.
interruption.
You didn't
Droid
think it was
doing
going to
his
make
job.
noise, did you?
No, I forgot.
So yeah, Kevin Feige kind of took this opportunity to dish a little bit of dirt on what to expect in Marvel in Phase 4 and some stuff about Endgame. A couple of the things that he said regarding the Endgame trailer. You guys all saw the Endgame trailer, the teaser trailer that
Wait,
came
what
out for this movie called Avengers 4.
Never heard of it.
The Wrath of Khan.
Yeah.
The Wrath of Khan.
He
Electric
basically
Boogaloo.
said, all the trailers that are going to come out for this film are only going to feature footage from the first 15 to 20 minutes of the film.
I like that.
I
Isn't that
love
how every
that.
movie should be?
Yes.
It should be, especially for like big movies with lots of secrets, lots of spoilers, like we were just talking about with Captain Marvel. Just show us what you need. I just want to see Tony Stark in space. I want to see Thor cry. I want to see maybe Ant-Man at the front door. Does everybody sad and depressed? Because they don't really need to show you anything. This movie's going to make $1 billion overnight. I mean, why
any
spoil
trailers.
anything?
Right.
What he said, I mean, his quote was, he said, "There's too many major secrets and spoilers in this movie, and they're not going to spoil any of it in the trailers."
That's
Yeah.
perfect.
That's pretty
Somebody
positive.
locked Tom Holland in a closet somewhere so
Yeah,
he
right.
can't spoil the movie.
Right. Yeah. Tommy Spoiler is not doing any interviews pre-Endgame. Also with Endgame, he said something about the title that everybody was speculating about, Endgame. He says that they had this title decided upon even before they began development of Infinity War. They said the reason Doctor Strange said this is the Endgame is because they already knew they were going to call this movie Endgame. I don't necessarily believe that.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, we know when they were first teasing the two movies, it was Infinity War 1 and Infinity War 2. Actually, it was supposed to just be one movie.
Mm-hmm.
They decided late in the game to split it into two.
So I digress, but how long does a movie have to be before you put in an intermission, like a play,
Right?
so you can go to the bathroom,
Like Quentin
get some
Tarantino
popcorn?
style.
Seriously.
Yeah, Hateful Eight had an
Hateful Eight
intermission.
had an intermission.
A
That was
much
awesome.
appreciated intermission.
Absolutely.
I don't think they've released the final runtime for the movie yet, have they?
There's no way it's less than 2.5 hours.
No.
Yeah, it's gotta
No,
be.
Not at all. Nope.
Yeah. Well, he also mentioned when he was asked point blank about Adam McKay, who said he wants to write and direct a Silver Surfer movie in Phase 4. Adam McKay, director of the movie Vice that just came out, The Big Short. He wants to do a Silver Surfer movie.
Wow.
Thoughts?
Ryan.
I would love to see Nora and Rad on the big screen, forgetting the old school Fantastic
Right.
Four stuff. I don't think that Adam McKay is the right guy to do this.
You know?
think about what he's done. He's so up and down. There's pretty much nothing in the middle. You've got Anchorman,
Yeah.
Anchorman 2,
Step Brothers.
Step Brothers.
yeah, Step Brothers, and then anything he did with Melissa McCarthy. I don't want to see Will Ferrell as Norrin Rad. Do you?
No, but John C. Reilly as Norrin Rad.
John C.
Will
Riley is a
Ferrell
Silver
as
Surfer.
Galactus.
Technically, he already died in this universe, so we can't really see that. But I don't know. He could be, I guess, the Herald of Galactus.
Yeah, well, speaking of Galactus, if you guys saw Vice, there was actually a Galactus reference in the movie Vice,
So
which
interesting.
kind of came out of nowhere.
Know
but
your audience,
Still
man.
very much appreciated
Yeah.
from the comic book fans in the audience. Everybody under the age of 40 who was in the audience, which was basically just me and Shauna.
So who wants to see this, though? Who is this movie for if Adam McKay does it? Is it a comedy or is it a Norrin Rad biopic?
I think it's going to be
Deep Dark Secrets.
It's going to be the
Biopic.
deep dark secrets of
funny.
Norrin Rad in the 80s during the housing market crash. He's the herald of a stock market crash.
He
is
actually
what he's
ran
gonna
a savings and loan.
be. Exactly.
Norrin Rad in New York.
Put all your money in silver.
Oh, boo.
Ooh, no good?
Oh, come on. That was gold. Silver.
No, it was
Oh,
silver.
God.
Silver. Ah.
Cut. So the last little thing he teased on when asked about Guardians of the Galaxy 3, is it going to happen? Kevin Feige said Guardians of 3 is definitely happening. He doesn't know exactly when and exactly how, but it's
And
still...
exactly with what cast?
Yeah, it's still in the plans. He didn't say anything about a possible director. He did say that he supports James Gunn going to DC, so that was kind of nice to hear, because, you know, James Gunn's going to go over and do Suicide Squad 2. Awesome pick for a director on that one.
Absolutely.
So yeah, it's kind of nice to know that Guardians 3 is happening. A lot of people didn't think it was going to happen.
But is it going to still be James Gunn's script, though? I mean, like,
I
are they
doubt it.
That
Probably
that's
not. I
disappointing
think
then,
the
if
whole
it's not.
concept of Guardians 3 is going to change.
Then I'm not for it.
Wasn't it Dave Bautista that said if it wasn't James Gunn's script that he didn't want to do it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
And
he
I
would break
think
contract.
the whole cast kind of signed on for that.
I think he was
too.
speaking, that was more a comment of passion, I think. I think once we get into phase 4 and the dust kind of settles,
Maybe
Batista's
James
not going
Gunn will
anywhere.
Give him the blessing of
Big old paycheck.
yeah, they
Yeah,
pack
right.
up the money truck. He's going to do it, even though I highly respect him for coming out and saying that. But,
Well, James
you know.
Gunn's such a cool guy, though, too. He'll tell Dave, he'll be like, dude,
dude, just do
you're
it.
really going to not accept a multi-million-dollar check because of me? Just do it.
What was Feige going to say about James Gunn, though? Like, no, that guy's a total dick.
Yeah, you're on the red carpet at the
Yeah.
Golden Globes. It's not the
Screw
time
that
to start
guy.
dishing on people you hate. I think he likes James Gunn, and I
I'm
think
sure
it's,
that he does.
Who doesn't?
it's
It
just
was-
business, you know.
Yeah, it
Can't
was
expect James Gunn not to go get another job.
Disney
Yeah.
business. And
Right.
especially considering, and it's been all over the internet, so this is not like an original idea, but the sordid past of Disney characters and the
Right?
the caricatures and the racist
Yep.
cartoons. Like,
Yep.
you're not spotless either. What are you judging James Gunn for?
Yeah.
Exactly. Well,
He came from Trauma Films, for Christ's sake. Like,
Right.
come on. They knew who they were getting when they hired him.
you would think so.
we support James Gunn here on Chocolate Comics
Absolutely.
without a doubt.
Call
last
us
last little piece of nerd news, guys, before we get into our comic book picks of the week. C2E2 update. Our weekly C2E2 update, guys. The Chicago Comic and Entertainment Expo comes to Chicago because it's the Chicago Entertainment Expo. March 22nd through the 24th. Big, huge guest announcement, guys. They are going to be doing a Clueless panel reunion. The cast of Clueless getting back together for the first time ever. Nobody saw this coming.
Are you pretty excited?
I'm
Paul
really
Rudd
excited
and
about
Alicia
this.
Silverstone.
I'm more excited about Mr. Paul Rudd coming to C2E2.
They just announced Paul Rudd and Breckin Meyer from
Yep.
the movie Clueless coming to C2E2. Shauna and Ralph. How is it possible that this is Paul Rudd's first ever Comic-Con appearance? He's never done a Comic-Con his entire life. How is
Never?
that possible? Never. He's never done San Diego Comic-Con. He never did
It's crazy.
Emerald City Comic-Con or these big ones, WonderCon. That's nuts.
What do you think his reaction is going to be when he walks in and that wall of BO hits him for the first time?
He's gonna love it.
Where do
He's
you
gonna
own
absolutely
people?
love it?
Right? He's going to be nauseated with the photo ops, probably, but
Is he also? You said he's doing a panel as well, or is
They're
he-
doing I know they're doing the Clueless reunion panel.
yeah.
And he might get his very own panel. Come on,
thing
Brian,
that
you're not
everybody's been
excited
waiting
about the
for.
Clueless. I don't know which I'm more excited about, the Clueless reunion panel or meeting William Zabka and Ralph Macchio
Oh,
from Karate
man.
Kid. It's the 10th anniversary of C2E2, so they're going to be pulling out all the stops.
So I'm pretty excited to see Breckenmeyer and ask him about his Oscar-worthy performance in the Garfield movies.
We saw Breckenmeyer last year at C2E2. It was hilarious. He did this whole panel about his Cartoon Network show.
Yeah,
Can't remember the name of it right now.
I can't remember the name of it either. Sorry,
I think I'm
Brecken.
unfamiliar. I mean, I love Breckenmeyer. Don't get me wrong, but I had to take that subtle dig. He's a guy that's been around forever and has been in everything. So
Yeah.
I'm very excited to possibly get an opportunity to talk to him for 10 seconds.
See if he still keeps his bong under the sink
Yeah,
in the
definitely.
kitchen. Is that where he said he kept it in Clueless?
I think so.
Kitchenwares or something like that.
Was that the TV show or the movie?
It was a movie. Was he on the TV show? Was Breckenmeyer
was,
on the?
yeah. He
I never
was.
saw the TV show.
Never saw the TV
The
show.
reunion that we really want.
Wow. There was a TV show.
There was.
No idea. I didn't know that.
So guys, get your tickets. Shauna, you mentioned photo ops for C2E2. You can start purchasing them on February 1st. So get your Paul Rudd photo op. Get your
I'm gonna
Karate
get up-
Kid.
Is that like 12:01 a.m. February
Probably
1st? 'Cause-
Central Time. You gonna get a Paul Rudd
Yeah.
autograph and photo
He's
op?
only there Saturday, by the way.
Oh,
I
crap,
saw
I
that
didn't
it's
know that.
only Saturday. Yeah, he's not there the whole weekend.
Jesus,
He's a
you come
busy
to
guy.
one con in your entire life and you
Yeah.
only show up for one day?
Yep.
He's busy doing
Not cool,
Ant-Man
Paul
stuff.
Rudd.
He's a family man, Chuck.
Yeah, well, family this. Stay up for the whole thing. We're going for all 3 days. Why can't you? So guys-
Neglect your family. Let's go.
So we're going to go ahead and give you our comic book picks of the week. But before we do, Ryan, I want to talk a little bit about the CHUMPCAST.
Oh, let's do it.
The funniest podcast we know of. Find you guys on iTunes. You're everywhere that podcasts can be listened to.
We do our best to put ourselves out there, and obviously, Chuck, you've been on the show as well. Actually, call back to the first Avengers recap that we did. We talked recently about our best of the year, and I asked one of my co-hosts, what was your favorite episode of the CHUMPCAST this year? And it was when Chuck came on,
Yes.
and we did an absolute nerd rage over Avengers Infinity War, and we were talking about what could possibly, what does this mean, and what does this camera shot mean, and what happens with Gamora next, and that was a ton of fun. We
Feels
had to do
like
that again this
yesterday.
year. It really does.
We vented on our hate for Star-Lord and how he basically just ruined the whole plan.
Definitely.
We talked about Moon Knight and a possible Moon Knight Netflix series, which I guess is not going to happen now.
Could be Disney Plus. You never know.
Yeah.
But yeah, the CHUMPCAST. We are everywhere on social media at the CHUMPCAST. Obviously, you can find us on iTunes, Spotify, wherever fine podcasts are sold for free.
A very strict no shoes policy in your studio.
No
I've noticed. Find them on Facebook also. Like you guys live stream the podcast
We do.
video wise.
We
so
do.
you can listen to it on iTunes, but you can watch it on Facebook, right?
Yeah, you can see our pretty faces.
Love it, man. I love watching you guys. Usually on what Saturday nights?
Usually, yeah. It depends, on when we want to have a 6-pack of beers and talk about whatever garbage movie we saw this week.
Six-pack?
Yeah, you guys take the world of fandom to the next level. You break down we break down like 3 news stories a week. You guys do everything, and you do it so funny. You manage to make it funny, whereas we just kind of spew the facts.
We're just making fun of each other, or I'm getting teamed up on by my co-host, but that's fine.
Aw, we'll come over and support you.
I appreciate that.
Well, guys, that's kind of your nerd news for the week. Obviously, the CHUMPCAST, check them out on iTunes. We're going to break down some of our favorite comic book picks this week. Shauna, I'm going to let you go ahead and kick it off. I know you read Criminal,
I did.
Ed Brubaker, Sean Phillips.
Absolutely loved it. So my first introduction to Ed Brubaker and Sean Phillips was Kill or Be Killed. I know a lot of people are crying out there right now because we've never read any other criminal arcs.
Very late to the
But,
Criminal game.
Yeah, man, it was so good. And my favorite part about these image books is that there's no ads in it. Like this was $4, and it is just page to page story. And
It's like a 40-page comic book
yeah, and it's
with no ads and for $4
and it's
for
all
$3.99.
it's got this. It's set in the 80s. It's got this whole noir feel to it. It's just I love it. It's just a crime. Hence the name Criminal.
I mean, Ed Brubaker,
crime comic. It's
the
just,
god
it was so
of,
good.
of crime comics.
Yeah.
That's what he's kind of become his bread and butter
As to not
since.
spoil it, I'm just gonna leave it at that. But
I
it's
see a
pick it
luchador
up.
on the back here, and I am immediately intrigued.
It's in the book, man. It's in the book.
It's a fantastic
Sold.
book. Issue 1 just came out this week, guys. Criminal. Pick it up. Well worth your money. You get a lot of bang for your buck, as Shauna was saying. My pick has to be Alien 3.
course it does.
I've talked about this book a lot on Chuckload of Comics. What it is, all you fans of the Alien franchise. Anybody a fan of Alien 3, the movie?
Alien what?
Alien 3. Not the most widely
Only
beloved
Chuck,
movie in
obviously.
the Alien franchise. I love Alien 3. I thought it was fantastic. The first movie by, what's his name?
Fincher.
David Fincher. His very first theatrical film. He went
Debut.
from making music videos to they just handed him this movie. Interesting little backstory. I'm trying not to go off on a rant here. The
But
movie
it's
Alien
gonna
3 is steeped in controversy. They went through like 9 different screenplays. They started shooting the movie without a screenplay even in hand. They were writing it as they were making it. They handed David Fincher like the worst possible intro into your career of filmmaking.
It was improv movie
They
making.
basically improv the movie. They're just like, they just gave him a couple pages at a time and just made the movie that way. That's why, a lot of people
Sounds
don't
like
really
The
dig it.
Room.
What this comic book is, not to go off on too much of a rant, this comic book is the comic book version of the original screenplay for Alien 3. So it's not the one that you saw in theaters. It's what the studio originally wanted to do.
With no Sigourney Weaver.
Sigourney Weaver's not in it. Good point. Newt from Aliens is still alive. She's in the comic book. Hicks from Aliens is still alive. He's in the comic book. No Ripley, because at the time of making the movie, Sigourney Weaver didn't want to be in Alien 3. She didn't want to do it. So she wasn't even really in the screenplay. Essentially what it is, guys, it's this warring faction between the company and another. There's a big Cold War going on in the middle of space, and they use the aliens to kind of use them as chemical warfare against each other. They're both trying to develop the aliens at a fever pace so they can use them on the other guys. So you got the story of 2 different warring countries trying to develop the aliens so they can wipe out the other guys. Really, really cool, really amazing sci-fi story. Not the best comic book in the world, but just the fact that it's being made, that they're finally telling the story that they originally wanted to tell with Alien 3 is awesome. It's a gem. You got to pick it up.
Oh.
Total dead silence. Craig's
Wait.
over there.
I'm lukewarm on this, man. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you're not too big on it.
For you to end your story with, it's not a great comic.
Well,
Yeah. Way to
it's
sell
just,
it, Chuck.
it's William Gibson and Johnny Christmas do an amazing job
Christmas?
of making this.
His last name is Christmas?
Johnny Christmas.
Oh my gosh.
A
that
better
sounds
name
made up.
you couldn't make
Sounds
it
like
up.
a porn name.
Right.
Brother Lloyd.
Lloyd W.
Lloyd
Christmas.
Yes.
Pick it up, guys. Alien 3. It's worth your time. It's like $3.
All right,
Get it.
all right.
Put it on your
fine.
pull list.
Oh.
You'll be glad you did.
Well,
You'll be
you
able to
gotta buy
talk
the
to people
first
at
one,
parties
so that's
about
another
it.
$3.
Do they explain what happened to Ripley?
Well, she's in there. She's kind of in a coma.
Kind
So-
of. How can you kind of be in a coma?
She's in a coma.
Okay.
Well, when she
In a
goes to
big-
sleep, she puts
big,
herself in a
big,
coma.
big coma. So that's kind of our comic book picks of the week, guys. That's our nerd news. Massive, massive week in the world of fandom.
Right?
Ralph, I want to thank you for being here.
Oh yeah, thanks, man. Thanks for having me. Happy birthday, Chuck.
Happy birthday, Ralph.
Oh, thanks, guys.
Ryan, thanks a lot for coming all the way down to the Chuckload Comic Studios.
Thanks for the invite. I appreciate it.
Thanks for bringing your comic book knowledge to this haphazard show that we do every single week.
Talk about this place is great. This is like heaven for nerds.
Don't you
Aw.
knock Chuck Load of Comics, okay?
I won't, I promise. Obviously, big thanks to Cold War and the new Lady Death game that's coming out later in 2019. Lady Death tabletop game. Find them on coldwar.us. They basically just make board games and tabletop games and card games based on comic book properties. So find them.
And an amazing comic book called Squarriors.
And Squarriors, one of our favorite comic books from the great people at Squarriors. That's kind of how we're going to wrap it up, I think, guys. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. Join us here every single Sunday for nerd news, comic book reviews, movie talk, everything happening in the world of fandom. Anything you guys want to say before we wrap this thing up? I
Stop
love
putting
it.
out trailers.
Stop putting out trailers.
Yeah,
That's a good ending. I like that.
I agree.
All right, guys. Thanks for watching. Join us here next Sunday. Have a fantastic week. Stay thirsty, my friends.